Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Inside the Dome. I am John Dodaro. It is just me for this episode today. Carlin cannot be here for this week, so I am stepping up to do the very few episodes we got dropping this week. So this isn't going to be as long as this episode tends to be. We tend to go an hour on this. Maybe if I talk a lot, it will go an hour. I doubt it, though, because I got to record two other things. But it's going to be a fun little episode, talking about everything that's happened in the sport world over the past week. We got some March Madness to discuss, a little bit of NFL, not much NHL and NBA, though there was a big injury in the NBA regarding my Warriors. I will describe a little bit. The MLB is starting. It started yesterday, but it is continuing today. The Pirates play today. This episode drops. Obviously, March Madness, WWE, Wrestlemania building up. So we'll discuss as much of it as I can before I lose my voice in this episode. But it is the middle of the week, nearing the end of the week. So hopefully everybody's had a great week. It's been dominated by March Madness. The past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday for the women. It's been a lot of fun watching March Madness. We did our brackets. Carlin's is toast. I'll get to talk all about Carlin's without him being able to defend himself. Let's start with the men. So, first off, Carlin had Kansas winning it all. He never said that in the last week episode. He had Kansas winning it all, and Kansas is out already. Absolutely hilarious. They lost to St. John's. My St. John's is going farther than last year. Thank goodness. And thank goodness I still did not have them winning it all because I'm scared. But overall, how did I do in March Madness? I did pretty well. The whole side of the bracket that is with Duke and all of them, I went perfect on that side. So the March Madness app doesn't want to say what all the sides are. But the side with Duke, like that region, I got it all correct. Duke, TCU, Duke, TCU, St. John's, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan State, UCLA, and UConn all won. And then Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, and UConn all won. I got all of those correct. Now, then again, when I read all those teams, there isn't any glaring upset in all of that. So I guess it was the more easier side to predict. But still, I'll take some credit that I got all that correct. On the South, I got Florida and Iowa right. I had McNeese beating Vanderbilt, and I was wrong about that. We'll talk about Vanderbilt more in the second round in a second. Nebraska-Troy, got that correct. I had Nebraska going all the way. And let's mention that now. Vanderbilt-Nebraska, holy crap, what a game that was. There were so many great games, but I think this one had probably the most heartbreaking ending for any March Madness game this year. Nebraska makes the game-winning shot with 2 seconds left, but Vanderbilt still has a chance to score. The guy from Vanderbilt takes a half-court shot. It hits the backboard. It hits the basket. Looks like it's going in. It's a bank shot, and then it rolls out. Oh, what a heartbreak for Vandy, but I was so happy because I had Nebraska winning. But that right there is what March Madness is all about. That is what it is all about, and I'm happy because I had Nebraska moving on. But Florida-Iowa, I think probably the first true upset of the whole tournament. Florida out, the defending champions, technically. Florida out already. Iowa wins, moves on. So it'll be Iowa versus Nebraska on March 26th, which is the day this episode drops. I had Florida going to the Elite Eight, only the Elite Eight, though, because I had Houston going to the Final Four. So let's get to that other side. VCU was another upset I had over North Carolina. That happened. I was happy about that. Illinois beat Penn. I had that. St. Mary's, Texas A&M. I got that wrong. I had St. Mary's winning, so nice little upset there for A&M. But I had Houston going to beat St. Mary's anyway, and Houston won the first and second round, so they are going to play Illinois. I got that all correct. And I have Houston winning that whole side. Now back to the St. John's Duke side. I have St. John's beating Duke on March 27th. Essentially, in all of my groups, I have a legit chance of winning my groups if St. John's beats Duke. I think that I have a legitimate chance to maybe win some money if St. John's beats Duke's. That is the game I am going to be watching. Duke, you better lose. The Boozers got nothing on St. John's. Praying for it. Some NFL news just came out. Interesting. Okay, I'll say this during the NFL segment. News about the opener for the NFL season just came out as I'm recording this, so that's great. I'll mention that later. I have St. John's beating Duke. I have UConn beating Michigan State, and I have St. John's going to the Final Four. Hopefully that happens. Still up there, but it's tough to happen. To the other side of the bracket, Arizona is my winner for March Madness, and they beat Long Island and Utah State. Very happy about that. I have them beating the team that I predicted correctly at Arkansas and High Point, both winning. They both won, and I had Arkansas beating High Point. So I got that all correct. Arizona needs to beat Arkansas now. On the flip side, Texas was the one sneaker. If you had Texas going to the Sweet 16, congrats to you. The 11th seed Texas beat my team in BYU, who I had going to the Sweet 16. Texas then beat Gonzaga in an upset after that. So if you took Texas to go to the Sweet 16, congrats to you. Purdue and Miami both won. I got that correct. And I have Purdue going all the way to the Elite Eight. So, and losing to Arizona there. So that's still on pace. Now to the Midwest. Michigan rolled. They were in the Sweet 16, and then I kind of choked a little bit. I had St. Louis beating Georgia, or I had Georgia beating St. Louis. I was wrong there. And then I had Texas Tech beating Alabama in the round of 32. I got that terribly wrong. So Alabama is in that spot, so I need Michigan to beat Bama. Tennessee, of course I'm going to have Tennessee lose in the first round, but of course Miami of Ohio can't step up. So thank you, Miami of Ohio. What a great season they had until that. Tennessee is another, I guess, sleeper if you took Miami of Ohio to win. Tennessee's in a Sweet 16, so that hurts. I had Virginia going there. Virginia lost to Tennessee. Unfortunate. Iowa State, I have going to the Final Four, and they won 2 of their games, so good for them. They did have an injury, so hopefully the injured player recovers for this week. I had Kentucky losing, so that's not great, but then they lost after that, so that's nice. So, March Madness has been very fun. Very fun. So many great games, even games I didn't specifically talk about. The one game, I just said their name, Kentucky. Oh, what a great game that was. Kentucky Santa Clara, I believe it was. That game went into overtime. And oh boy, that was great. Great stuff. I hope I got the game correct. But there was a game where the basket went in, and then the player shot a 3-pointer to send it to overtime. It was absolutely insane. What a great game. There were so many great games. The St. John's game, too, against Kansas. I don't know what was up with Kansas's defense. The defender that was inside, he was playing too much man. He left his area. He followed his guy, but there's only 2 seconds left, so the St. John's player just cuts right in because the Kansas defender leaves, and it's an easy layup. So terrible defense from Kansas there. That was absolutely horrendous. Duke was nearly in the scare, too, in the first round, but they pulled out very well. St. John's was close, like I just said. There were a lot of great games. Florida, Iowa, Vanderbilt, Nebraska, I think, was probably the craziest game. But there were some others. I believe it was that Kentucky game that went crazy, too. But yeah, what a great first 2 rounds. Now, a lot of people are saying, though, that upsets are slowly dying in the first 2 rounds. Well, mainly it was the Friday games where there were no upsets. So all the games on Friday, the expected winners won that Friday. So some people are saying, NIL is going to kill March Madness. It's too early to tell. But then again, last year, it was all 1 seeds that made the Final Four. Could happen again, and I think actually it can't happen again because Florida lost, but it'll be interesting to see in these upcoming rounds. A lot of the quote-unquote top teams are left. Texas is an 11 seed. They've moved on. I think that's it in terms of a double-digit seed. still in the mix. Iowa's a 9. So Iowa and Texas are kind of like the sleepers in terms of what they were ranked. But overall, March Madness has been very nice so far. I've enjoyed it. More games are happening today. I can't wait to watch them. Go St. John's. Let's briefly talk about the women, because I think with the women's bracket is there are so many blowouts in the first 2 rounds. So many. Definitely the first round. Like, the first round for the women's bracket is almost just embarrassing. Like, you look at UConn, who I probably would have had UConn win the whole thing if I wasn't biased for West Virginia. They're just always very good. They won their first game 90-52. They won their second game 98-45. They were up like 60-12 at one point, I think going into half. It was absolutely absurd. But the team I really want to talk about, though, is West Virginia. The women's team lost in round 2. They were my pick to win it all, but that's all bias. This sucked. Straight up. I mean, I was really sad to see that happen. I really was. I've been following this team now since I was back in college, and they've always been consistent. They really have been in the Big 12. A really consistently good team. But then when you get to this moment in March Madness, they always implode. Now, this game was closer. There were some other games in the past where, I think last year was against North Carolina. That wasn't even close. Then there was the Caitlin Clark game 2 years ago, I believe. And that was competitive. I think there was some referee bias, but they still lost. So this year was frustrating. They won the Big 12. I thought they'd have some momentum, and they played against Kentucky at home, too. Like in women's basketball, in the first 2 rounds, home team gets to host like the first 2 rounds. So West Virginia got to host Kentucky versus James Madison, West Virginia versus Miami of Ohio. And then obviously the second round, too. So the game was at Hope Coliseum. The place was sold out, and they still lost. A lot of missed shots, a lot of easy missed shots. Give credit to Kentucky. They made some great plays, too. It was a heartbreaker because we had a chance to win at the end of the game. And it was a good shot, too. It just didn't go in. And, I mean, it really sucked. I thought West Virginia had a great look. They only lost by 1 point. So, it's disappointing, to say the least. I will always support my Mountaineers, and especially because the men's team wasn't even close to sniffing that tournament this year. I really only had the women's team. So it sucks to see. It's baseball season now for the Mountaineers. I can't wait for baseball season because they always show up in baseball season lately. So hopefully baseball turns things around. Football was not great this year. Basketball, very up and down. So really sucks for the West Virginia women. I was really hoping to watch them play another weekend, but sucks. Just sucks. Straight up. So that's March Madness so far. I'm not going to go into it much more. To the NFL, the thing that caught my attention while I was talking about the bracket is they announced the kickoff day for the season. It is not happening on a Thursday. It is happening on a Wednesday. Yes. So the NFL season will kick off on a Wednesday with the Super Bowl champs instead of the traditional Thursday opener. Thursday will feature the Australia game. Friday wasn't an option this year due to how late it falls on the calendar and antitrust rules. So, now official, the season will kick off Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20 p.m. with the Super Bowl champion Seahawks hosting in Seattle. Their opponent is not yet revealed. The next day, the 49ers will face the Rams in the first ever NFL regular season game in Melbourne, Australia on Thursday, September 10th at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So, that Australia game will throw things off. So, it's not a big deal. It's not terrible. I thought at first, like, the Seahawks wouldn't be the opening game because it's typically the Super Bowl champs are the opening game. I thought the Australia game was going to be the opening game, but now it's not. The Seahawks will play on Wednesday. So the NFL season will start slightly earlier. I don't hate it, and especially because it's the first week. You essentially get a longer bye, or a longer break in between week 1 and week 2 if you're the Seahawks and their opponent. So I don't hate it at all. The Australia game will be interesting, mainly with when it's going to happen, because as a WWE guy, they did the Elimination Chamber PLE a couple of years ago. I was at school for this. I think the show started at like 5 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. It started that early. So is this game going to start that early? That's my question. I don't think it's been confirmed. Oh, actually, it did. First ever game in Melbourne, Australia on Thursday, September 10th, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So it is starting at a normal time. So what time would that be in Australia? What time? Okay. So right now, it is 3:18. Okay, so it's 12 hours ahead. So in Perth, Australia, it's going to start at 8:35 a.m. in the morning. Interesting. So for the Australians watching the game, it's going to start earlier. So they're catering to the U.S. crowd here. The Australians and I guess the players in Australia are going to have to wake up early and play the game in the morning. So interesting. Okay. So that settles it. I don't have to wake up early. Good to know. Poor Australians, though. So that's what just broke. Literally just now as I'm recording this. Some other news. The Seahawks extended Jackson Smith-Njigba. They extended him. He is now the highest paid receiver on a year-by-year basis. He is making $42 million a year, surpassing Jamar Chase's $40 million a year. So JSN has set the market. He is now at the top. So any new top wide receiver is going to probably make more than that. So the market is getting inflated. You look at the Rams, they probably need to extend Puka Nacua soon, and he could make more than that. So it might be a smart play by the Seahawks to do what they did. Puka Nacua has been in the news a little bit for some alleged biting and comments, but it's all alleged. I don't want to get into it much because when things are alleged, you don't want to talk about them like they are true. So not even going to comment much on that. It's a new thing. You can look it up on your own and make your own opinion. But JSN had a breakout year with the Seahawks, obviously won them a Super Bowl. And that's probably why the Seahawks could not pay Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, because you got to pay JSN. And I think JSN is more valuable than a running back. Having an elite wide receiver is always important. He had a breakout year with Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold's obviously still on the team. So it's a win-win for everybody. He deserves the money. He was fantastic this season. He was the best wide receiver easily. He is definitely a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL now. Definitely on pure talent alone. He's always been great. Ever since he was in Ohio State, he was putting up insane numbers for the Buckeyes. So it was really just a matter of when is he going to explode with the Seahawks. He was drafted in the first round, kind of fell a little bit. He was late 20s. He was picked by Seattle. And obviously when he was drafted by Seattle, they still had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And so he's wide receiver number 3. Obviously, this past season, though, DK Metcalf goes to the Steelers, Tyler Lockett goes to the Titans, and then the Raiders, and now he's wherever. So JSN is the guy. They only got Cooper Kupp after him. So JSN has to be the top wide receiver for the Seahawks. His first season, he had 628 receiving yards. His second season, he broke 1,000. He had 1,130. And then this year, he just exploded. 1,793. And he also had 10 touchdowns. Pure wide receiver 1. You pay him like a wide receiver 1. And you won a Super Bowl with him. So he is capable of winning Super Bowls. An incredible season for him. And he's been reliably healthy, too. He played all games in his rookie season, his second season, and his third season. So hopefully the health stays up. So instantly reliable. JSN. Great deal. No complaints about it. None. Some other news. The draft is in over a month in Pittsburgh. We will be talking about it a lot more in April. We will be there. Can't wait for it. But the draft is happening in April in Pittsburgh. Can't wait for the draft. Can't wait for it. In terms of who the Steelers could be drafting, if I had to say right now, it should be a wide receiver. I like DK Metcalf. I like Michael Pittman. Wide receiver 3, nothing great. So I would definitely say a wide receiver still. But here's the other thing. Quarterbacks are very limited right now. I feel like they only have 2 options, Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, in terms of bringing in a veteran. Joe Flacco is off the board. He's back with the Bengals as their backup again. Great. So in terms of a guy who they need on their roster, because they cannot go in with Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, and a 7th-round rookie. You can't be doing that. Like, you cannot be that confident in Will Howard because he's shown nothing yet, not even in preseason. You need a contingency. You need someone who can start, and that is not Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph should not be a starting option. He is a pure backup. He is not a starting option going into the season. I'm sorry. Unless you want to settle for mediocrity. Again. So, no offense to Mason Rudolph. You're great. You're just not, in my opinion, a starting quarterback who can start for a 17-game season. That's just me. Will Howard could be that guy. I would love it if Will Howard is that guy. But we don't know. And unless you really want to tank, then you could do that. And whatever happens, happens. But if you are in a front office, that can't be your thinking. Unless you really just don't care. So, I think Aaron Rodgers is the likely pick. Kirk Cousins could be a nice fallback option. And if Will Howard beats Kirk Cousins in training camp, then so be it. Great. Awesome. Will Howard's the guy. But if he's not the guy and Kirk Cousins plays decent, then great. Kirk Cousins helped us out for a year. If everyone sucks, 2027 has a nice draft class. So, could they draft Ty Simpson? Maybe. If they don't sign Rodgers or Kirk Cousins before the draft, I think they could be looking at quarterbacks, so you Will Howard lovers might be done for at that point. If they draft Ty Simpson, then that's probably it for Will Howard, barring a miracle. It could be another Trey Lance situation, but if they don't sign any quarterback before the draft, I think they could be going Ty Simpson or maybe even a Drew Aller or someone like that. Maybe not in the first round, but Ty Simpson would be a first-round pick. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I hope if it's Rodgers, I hope he does not take until after the draft to make his decision. It should be before the draft. Do everyone a favor, Aaron. Now, that's it. That's it for the NFL for today. NBA. Well, I got to talk about one thing with the NBA, and that is with the Warriors. A really, really terrible injury happened just a couple days ago with the Warriors. Moses Moody, who is a very young player. Since I've become on the Warriors bandwagon, I've known Moses Moody. I've thought he's been great. Just a great depth piece. He's only 23 years old. From Arkansas, or he played at Arkansas. And the injury was terrible. So he's having a great game here, too, against the Mavericks. He steals the ball. He has 23 points. He steals the ball, and he's going for a layup, or he's going to dunk it. I don't know. But it's a breakaway. Like, no one's coming at him or anything, and he's going for a layup or a dunk. He jumps up, but as he jumps up, he doesn't complete the basket. Like, he stops his attempt at shooting it and grabs his knee instantly and falls to the ground. Play continues for a little bit because they don't blow the whistle right away for injuries. Don't know why, but once there's a break, they check on Moses Moody, and I highly recommend you don't look up what his knee looked like because it looked out of place. He has a torn patellar tendon. So, according to the AI overview, it is a severe knee injury where the tendon connecting the kneecap to the shin bone tears, causing immediate pain, swelling, and an inability to strain the leg. Requires surgery, which Moses Moody is getting. It could take him. Rehabilitation is crucial and takes 6 to 12 months. So, and apparently other NBA players have had this injury, and a lot of them haven't looked the same since. So, I don't know what the future outlook for Moses Moody will be. There's probably a great chance he misses all of next season. I would not be shocked. This is a serious knee injury. My hope, he is a young player, only 23 years old, and I thought he showed so much promise. I don't think he was ever going to be like Steph Curry, but for a role player, I liked him. I really did. It was great watching him. Seems like a good guy, and I'm really hoping for the best. He was having his best season when you look at his statistics. He really was having one of his best seasons. He was playing more minutes than ever before, averaging 12 points a game. And he won an NBA championship in 2022. So this sucks. Nicest way to put it, this sucks. And I'm really hoping if he misses next season, I'm hoping in 2028, I hope he's back to full strength. It would be an incredible comeback story if Moses Moody can come back to play basketball again. I think it would be an awesome story, one that I will be looking forward to seeing happen. So hopefully he is okay. Hopefully he can rehab quicker than the 12 months it said. Hopefully it's more around the 6 months. I'm not a doctor though, but that was very tragic to watch. He had to be taken out on a stretcher. So it was serious. Like if you watch everything that happened, like it was complete silence. Mav players, Warriors players all looked distraught. It was a really sad scene. So hopefully he's okay. And with the Warriors, it's really just been a failure. In a lot of it with the Warriors, it's hard to be overly critical with them because there were injuries. I mean, Curry's been out forever now with a knee injury. Jimmy Butler tore his ACL. That's your top two players right there. Out. So, like, it's like taking away Tatum and Jaylen Brown from the Celtics. They still have Derek White, but it's not going to be the same team. It's not. It's tough. They might win some games, but you can't expect them to win so many unless they're truly that special and someone truly steps up. But you lose Curry, you lose Butler. Porzingis, your trade deadline acquisition's been in and out of the lineup. So you really never even got to play with your full squad. Like, I really thought when Jimmy Butler went out, that was kind of it for the Warriors. They would have had to make a giant leap at the trade deadline, and I don't think Porzingis is that. So, but he has been having some decent games lately. I'm really just looking more towards next season for the Warriors because this season has been cursed by injuries. Moses Moody, his injury is almost the cherry on top at this point. It's just been a disastrous season. But then again, because the NBA is as weird as it is, they'll probably still be in the play-in tournament. And who knows what happens there, but I'm really not expecting much this year. But that is what it is. Another thing that is interesting in the NBA, though, wasn't even planning on talking about it, is they look like they are moving forward with expansion teams. Mainly in Seattle and Vegas. The league owners unanimously voted to begin the expansion bidding process for two new teams in Las Vegas and Seattle. So those are the two teams. Two new teams, 32 teams. It will be in the NBA. It's more of when, not if, at this point. So The purchases could happen now or in a few years. So get ready for that. It's been a while since there's been an expansion in the NBA. So that'll be something to watch. It seems like Vegas is getting a new team for everything. They got the Raiders, they got the Golden Knights. They seem like they're getting everything. They got the Aces in the WNBA. Seems like Vegas is the new place for new teams. MLB too. Like they're just getting everything now. Seattle, they had a team, then they lost a team. Now they're getting a team back. So good for Seattle fans. So that's about it for the NBA. NHL, the Penguins are still kicking strong. Love to see it. I believe it was WWE night in Pittsburgh just recently. Chelsea Green was there. Fun story. I was there last year, the year before, and it was a WWE night, and Braun Breaker was there. And I was trying to search for him, and I couldn't find him, but my friend did and got a picture, and I was very sad that I did not. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Penguins right now have 86 points, 35, 20, and 16. They are in a tight race. They are third in the Metropolitan Division, but it is tight because you look at the wild card, the Boston Bruins have 86 points, and the Ottawa Senators have 85 points. Look who's on the outside of the wild card. The Islanders, 85 points. Detroit, 84. Philly, 80. Washington, 79. And then I doubt the Devils or the Panthers will catch up. The Panthers are struggling this year. The champions, the Stanley Cup champions, are struggling this year. And Toronto's struggling. And the Rangers are struggling. You'd be surprised. I mean, you ask a fan like a couple years ago, Columbus being this high, 87 points. Montreal, back where they are. Buffalo, 44, 20, and 7. Buffalo finally finding their stride after all these years. Good for them. Sully, though, on the Rangers, that kind of sucks. Columbus, Dallas, Minnesota, that's kind of expected. Anaheim having a great season. Look at the Sabres. Look at the Anaheim Ducks. What happened? Good to see, though. Edmonton, Vegas, you always expect that. Utah, the former Arizona Coyotes, Utah Mammoth are doing pretty well this year. The Kings, the Seahawks, Winnipeg are still in contention. It's tight. It is really tight, but when you look at it, though, this is the home stretch. If you are the Pittsburgh Penguins, this is the home stretch because pretty much every team has played 70 to 72 games this year. So every team has approximately 10 to 12 more games left. So if you are the Penguins, if you are any team on a wild card spot, every game matters at this point. Every single game matters for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can't choke now. They're healthier. They got Crosby back and Malkin back. You cannot blow any more games. They need to be playing their best hockey right now. Every game is significant. Even if they go to overtime and they lose, it's something. You cannot be having regulation losses at this point. It is do or die if you are a Pittsburgh Penguin and if you are a fan of this team. Because you look at their schedule, what they've been doing. The NHL app is terrible. Where are we? We are in March. It's been up and down. Let's just say that. Very up and down. And why? Yeah, okay. They lost to Colorado 6-2. They lost to Carolina 5-1, but they did have a win against Winnipeg, an overtime loss against Carolina, a win against Colorado. It's been up and down for the Penguins in March. They've had wins, they've had losses, some overtime wins and losses. So this is it. So they got a game today against Ottawa away. Then they got Dallas. They got the Islanders, Detroit. And they finished their season. Tampa, Florida, so a little Florida trip. The Devils, Washington, and St. Louis. So a lot of important games coming up. They got to win them. Got to win most of them. So if not all of them, if you're the Pittsburgh Penguins, win them all. MLB opening night was technically on the day I'm recording this episode. It was on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet because I'm recording in the afternoon, so I'd have no comment on it right now. But the Pirates played today. Can't wait to watch the Pirates. I believe I actually can because it'll be on NBC. So I'm kind of happy about that. Or Peacock. So hopefully it's not blacked out. Hopefully. But the Pirates play. I have no clue what to expect with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I really have no clue what to expect. Hopefully something good. But then again, after the first 20 games or 30 games, if they're playing well, you can't even be that confident because they will just end up blowing it later down the line. But is this a different team this year? Pitching's always great. Will the bats step up? I don't know. Not that confident, though. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. Now, Carlin would definitely talk more about the Pirates. I will not. But yeah, MLB is officially back today. So watch the games. If you love baseball, it's your time. We're kind of in the period right now in the sport world where it's just a lot of regular season stuff. Obviously, March Madness is happening too. But NHL regular season, that is ending in April. So playoffs will happen soon. Same with the NBA. Baseball starting up. So going into April will be the really fun time to be a sport fan because NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. If you love baseball, baseball's starting up. So sports are going to kick off again. This is the fun time. Obviously, the NFL draft. So in terms of if you're not fully into the NFL, this is your time to be a sport fan. Because for me, the time to be a sport fan is during the NFL season. But this is a nice compromise, I would say. Baseball starts, though. The game that happened on Wednesday was Yankees and Giants. I, of course, have not watched it yet. It is on Netflix, though, so I'm curious to see how the Netflix broadcast is for baseball. But I'll be watching it. I'm sure you all listening will have seen who won that game, though. That's it. WNBA, there was a little news thing that came out where the players are getting a massive pay raise. Massive pay raise. They signed a new deal. They reached a verbal agreement, bargaining agreement. Historic pay raises. Average salaries will rise roughly $600,000. Minimum salaries will reach approximately $300,000, and top players can earn over $1.4 million. Now, if you compare that to the NBA, it's not even close. Like $1.4 million, like that's nothing compared to the NBA. But when you look at what these WNBA players have been getting in the past, like I think Caitlin Clark and these rookies, they were getting only like $70,000. That was their salary from the WNBA. That's rising to the minimum being $300,000. Now, obviously, like I said, doesn't compare to the NBA. But in terms of a living salary, that's pretty darn good. I would not be complaining if I'm making $300,000 a year. I would not be. If you're even making $600,000 a year, I would not be complaining. It's a livable salary. And this is great too, because I know a lot of players, like they have to travel overseas to make money and all that. Like the WNBA was never great for paying their players what they are worth. So this is great. Love seeing it. They can make a living off of the WNBA now. Obviously, the top players were making money elsewhere just through brand deals and all that. But this is great for the players. Like, obviously, the well-known players are fine financially. But just some of the more unknown players that you don't see in headlines all the time or anything like that, them getting a pay raise is what's truly great. Other news will end. First off, the Masters are happening in April. We might have more on that next week. But I'll talk a little bit about WWE to end this episode because we are building to the road of WrestleMania. And I know Carlin is not here, but Carlin and I will be at SmackDown on Friday in Pittsburgh. Can't wait for it. It's going to be absolutely great, hopefully. The last SmackDown I was at was... It was after WrestleMania 40. It wasn't the SmackDown after WrestleMania 40, but the SmackDown after that SmackDown. So 2 weeks after WrestleMania 40, Carlin and I went to that SmackDown. And It was a good show. I don't think it was anything crazy special. The main event was Bayley versus Naomi, and it ended in a DQ with Tiffany Stratton interfering. And that was literally it. Then we had a dark match between Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley. And neither of them are even employed with the company anymore. But that was also the start of Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief. Tama Tonga did some things. Our crowd was actually the crowd that started the "We Want Roman" chants. When people were chanting that, when Roman disappeared after Mania 40 and Solo was the tribal chief and the crowd was chanting "We Want Roman," the Pittsburgh crowd started that. The first time people started chanting "We Want Roman" happened in our crowd. So, Pittsburgh crowd, always known for some great things. I can't wait for the show. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton should both be there, ideally. So I will be cheering for Cody Rhodes and booing Randy Orton. I will be a true fan. Love Cody, though. And, it's crazy, though, because I've seen all of these guys recently, because Carlin and I were just at the past SummerSlam, the past 2 SummerSlams. So I've seen Cody, I've seen Randy, I've seen Roman, I've seen CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Gunther, Brock Lesnar, Jelly Roll even I saw at SummerSlam, and Jelly Roll's wrestling Kit Wilson this Friday. Will there actually be a match? I don't know. But I'll get to see Jelly Roll again. So it's going to be fun. It's crazy that I've seen these guys so many times. I've been to so many wrestling events over the years. I've been to countless Raw and SmackDowns at this point. I've seen a couple pay-per-views. Extreme Rules I saw. Roadblock I saw. I didn't go to the recent PLE in Pittsburgh. I was at school. I think it was like Payback or something in Pittsburgh. I wasn't there for it. I don't think I was at the last show in Pittsburgh. I know they did a holiday tour in Pittsburgh, but I wasn't there for that either. But I think the last live event I went to was when John Cena and the Mysterios teamed up against Roman Reigns and the Usos. So, yeah, I've been to a lot of live events. I've even been to AEW events. I was at one. I was at a Dynamite recently with Carlin. Been to Ring of Honor, NXT at Stage AE. I've been there. Saw Ring of Honor at that same venue as well. IWC, not the Internet Wrestling Community, the something. It's a wrestling promotion in the Pittsburgh area, the IWC. I've been to those. So many wrestling events. I can't even count anymore how many I've been to, so this will add to the list. They're always so fun, especially when they are like a live TV production. They're always just so fun to watch because you'll have your commercial breaks and all that too. So I'm really excited. It should be fun. There might be some content. We'll talk about it next week, our experience there. So I can't wait for it. Hopefully everybody that's big on SmackDown, hopefully Danhausen's on SmackDown. I want to see him. Cody and Randy should be there. All the top stars should be there at this point. Can't wait. Raw was good. I liked Raw this past week. Punk and Roman finally got physical, and Roman beat him up. My only fear with this match, and I've had my complaints about it in the past, my fear now is the Usos are getting really involved in this match now, or in this build, where Jay is trying to be like Roman again. They're finally bringing that storyline back. My fear is that worst case scenario at WrestleMania is the Usos help Roman Reigns beat CM Punk at WrestleMania, and the show ends with all of them holding their belts, the tag belts and the world title. And WrestleMania 42 ends with the Bloodline fully reuniting again. We don't need to run it back. I'm sorry. Like, I've been watching for years, and I watched the whole Bloodline era. Like, all of it. Carlin didn't watch all of it. He started watching around Mania 40. But I've seen all of this already. We don't need to run it back. We don't. I know Jey Uso loves running it back, but we don't need to do that. We've already seen it. I don't need to see the Bloodline 2.0. I don't need to see Roman Reigns as champion, because the last time he was champion, in his last year as champion, he only defended it 3 times. I don't need to see that again. I really don't. I think there's more story you can do with CM Punk beating Roman Reigns clean, kind of making Roman Reigns look at himself. Maybe he's not the same as he once was. I think there's a great story there. I just think with Roman winning, it's just same old, especially with the Usos helping Roman Reigns. If the Usos help Roman Reigns retain, or even if it's just Jay, because Jay is very adamant on what he's doing. Jimmy seems a little more hesitant, but even if Jay helps, like, then Roman is just proving all of his haters right. Like, he can't do it without the bloodline. He can't win without help from his family. And why would you cheer him? Like, he's not a babyface at that point. That's why his fans always confuse me. So, like, it doesn't make any sense. And if you have the Usos accidentally cost Roman Reigns, then you're just repeating exactly what you just did in Australia when Roman Reigns lost to Bronson Reed. You're just running that back again. I hope it's a clean one-on-one match. I don't want there to be any interference. I really think CM Punk should retain against Roman Reigns. Because if Punk loses, then there's nothing really for Punk to do. He's just a chaser at that point. He's the champ, but he doesn't need the belt anymore. Same with Roman, but I think you can do more with Roman losing cleanly to Punk. I think there could be a nice character arc with Roman Reigns, where the Bloodline 2.0 does not excite me. If that's how the whole WrestleMania card is going to end, if that's how Night 2 ends, just a Bloodline reuniting, I'm not really for it. It doesn't excite me at all. We've seen it before. It was great, but you don't need to run it back. And it won't even be the same vibe either. Like, the Bloodline stuff also doesn't need a world title. That's the other thing, too. In the last year of Roman's title defense, there was some Bloodline cinema. But none of that cinema needed the belt. Like, Roman Reigns did not need to be champion for the whole Bloodline Civil War thing to happen. The Ula Fala was the biggest prize. You don't need Roman Reigns to be champion to do Bloodline cinema. You don't need him to be a champion. You don't. He's going to take the belt away, and you won't see it that much. So, I don't know. I think Punk should win. I hope the Usos aren't fully involved. I'm fine with them doing their segments now. It's interesting. But at Mania, I'm really hoping they don't interfere. If they're going to interfere and we're going to get the Bloodline ending, then you might as well put them at night 1 and let Cody and Randy main event night 2, so we don't have to end all of Mania with the Bloodline. And if you're a fan of Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and you want to see that, then that's for you, but it's just not for me. So, other things that happened, I'm really liking Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. I'm liking that feud a lot. Obafemi should win, though. If he doesn't, it's a mistake. In terms of the Mania card, looking at right now, there was another official match that was announced. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch is confirmed. So there are 6 matches currently confirmed. The 4 world title matches for the men and women, Brock and Ova and AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. And then I bet Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio is going to happen. I bet Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu will happen with a likely stipulation. I bet Sami Zayn and Trick Williams will happen. It seems like they're going that route. I bet Lash Legend and Nia Jax will defend their women's tag titles in a multi-women tag match. It could be a ladder match. I have a feeling that's the direction they're going to go, and it's going to happen at Mania. I bet Jelly Roll will wrestle at WrestleMania, probably teaming with somebody against Miz and Kit Wilson. I hope that somebody is Danhausen. It could be a nice comedy match. I bet El Grande and El Grande could fight each other, but honestly, I'm not certain. I don't bet on that. Those are the only matches I'm certain on. Penta still needs to defend his title. I think it will happen at WrestleMania. I bet it will be a multi-man match. Carmelo Hayes, Julia, and Priest and R-Truth, I don't know if any of them are guaranteed to defend at WrestleMania. Carmelo should be. Julia, they've been disrespecting her too much. I think she should, especially if Tiffany Stratton's involved. So I think Carmelo and Julia can make the card. I don't know if Priest and R-Truth will make the card. I don't think they need to. The Usos, I thought Usos and Vision would be a guaranteed lock, but now they're running it back for a second time this upcoming Raw in a street fight. So I don't even know what the plans are for WrestleMania for those guys. So maybe they run it back again at WrestleMania. I don't know. The MFTs and the Wyatt Six, I feel like there's some payoff at some point for this feud. It's obviously not with the tag belts anymore. Could happen at Mania. Seth Rollins needs a match. Because why would you bring him back if he's not wrestling? He just beat up Paul Heyman and got arrested, but that led to no match. And it's not Brock Lesnar anymore. I mean, you only have two options now. I think it's going to be Braun Breaker. I have a feeling he's going to get healthy, and they're just dragging it on until he is healthy and ready to spear Seth Rollins once. So I think they're going to go that route. Maybe they're not confirming the Usos and Vision at Mania in case they need to roll back on Logan Paul to be the opponent. Maybe. I don't know. But I think it's going to be Braun and Seth and then the Usos and Vision. But I think it'll be more clear after Raw this upcoming week. Some notable people not in a match. LA Knight, I have no clue what he's doing. He's been feuding with the Vision as well and getting involved in Uso stuff. But none of that leads to a match at WrestleMania. So hopefully he finds something to do. Io Sky, she's been talking a lot to Raquel Rodriguez, but that doesn't scream Mania to me. I wouldn't be against it, but I don't know though. Trick Williams, I think he'll fight Sami Zayn. Javon Evans, hopefully he's in the IC title picture. Charlotte and Alexa, I think, will be in the women's tag match. That leaves Dragunov, who I don't know if Ilya Dragunov will be fighting Carmelo Hayes, maybe a multi-man U.S. title match. I don't know. But some big names. The last big name, Gunther. He has not been on Raw for the past 3 weeks. And I don't know what he's going to do at Mania. Apparently they wanted him to fight Rey Mysterio. But even then, that doesn't even sound like a Mania match. Rey Mysterio has had no momentum as a wrestler forever. I couldn't even tell you the last title Rey Mysterio won since returning. I couldn't even tell you if he won a title since returning to the WWE. I couldn't even tell you that. And you're expecting me to believe in Gunther versus Rey Mysterio as a WrestleMania match after Gunther just retired John Cena and AJ Styles? No. That's a Monday Night Raw match. It would only be a Mania match if Rey Mysterio is actually retiring. But personally, I would have had AJ Styles stay in WWE longer. I would have made it a feud to Mania where AJ retires at Mania. Or I would have had Gunther win the Royal Rumble and maybe even threaten CM Punk's career. Since Punk just watched two of his friends, Cena and Styles, leave because of Gunther. I thought I could have had a good story with Gunther and then challenging CM Punk at WrestleMania. But no. They want to go Rey Mysterio, apparently, only because he's fighting another luchador in Dragon Lee. I don't know. Doesn't excite me. But hopefully Gunther and LA Knight are on the card. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. I'm starting to lose my voice. Stay tuned next week. We'll discuss the upcoming weekend of March Madness, the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. All that will be done, so we'll recap all of that. I'll talk about my SmackDown experience. Hopefully Carlin will be here for that, too. We'll discuss SmackDown, what happened, what we loved, what we didn't love. We'll talk about our experience and any other news that happened in the sport world. We'll discuss all that next week. Follow our social medias, our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube, our TikTok. All that's in the link tree in the link in bio. But other than that, thank you all for listening to this episode with just me, John Dodaro. Have a great day, everybody, and see you next time on Inside the Dome.